Welcome back. Well, let's focus on the stock of yesterday, which was Maruti. The company missed estimates in the second quarter. Profitability came down by close to around 17%. Margins came in at 5-quarter lows. The management has warned of weak demand after the festive season. To discuss the past quarter's performance and also what are the trends going ahead from here on, we're joined by Mr. RC Bhargava, the chairman of Maruti Suzuki India. Hi, Mr. Bhargava. Good morning. Thanks a lot for joining in. Well, their quarter two earnings reflect pressure on the overall sales. Could you tell us where is the pressure mainly coming from? And if you could give us some insight on the past quarter's numbers.
Overall, we found that we had a sales compared to last year, a sales growth, a wholesale. Wholesale growth was a little bit lower than last year, although the export sales were 11 or 12% higher than last year. That is why the domestic sales were lower. Part of the reason for the domestic sales being lower was that we have been consciously trying to adjust our production to reduce the inventories which had been there in the market for some time. And since we've shifted our entire focus now on using retail sales as the relevant numbers for anything, we felt that these wholesale numbers in any case didn't have much meaning for us. And we should reduce this and align all our actions towards maximizing the retail sales. The financial results are all right. We are better than last year. This year we have one-off provision which we have had to make because the budget took away the indexation on the interest earned on long-term debt funds. And that provision had to be made because, and the tax changes. And that has set us back by some 800 odd crores. Otherwise, our PAT should also have been better than last year.
Mr. Bhargava, how do you see the festive demand panning out? You mentioned yesterday that retail sales should be about 3 lakh cars during the festive period. Could you give us the exact timeline about what you're talking about for this number, 3 lakh number?
The 3 lakhs is, they picked a date from September till the end of October. There's a date, I think, around 22nd or something of September till the end of October.
Sir, good morning and season's greetings to you. Now, you've mentioned about 14% growth. Is that for the same period as you've mentioned these 3 lakh units?
That is for the exact period of end of the Shraddh period till the end of Diwali. That 14%, which will be about 2 lakh units, is for that period. If you compare the festival period last year to this year, it's actually a 14% growth in retail sales.
All right, Mr. Bhargava, you have indicated that inventory levels will come down, I think, to around 30 days by the end of this month. Now, there have been some conflicting reports which indicate the industry is seeing inventory levels of around 70 to 80 days. So if we believe those reports, do you mean you're expecting a sharp improvement and these inventory days will come down by nearly half?
No, 80 days is what FADA has been saying for the industry as a whole. But for Maruti as such, our figure, it was 40 odd days earlier. But with the sales which have taken place, because as you've seen, our retail in this period of the festival period is much higher than the wholesale. So inventories have reduced, and as a result, we'll be around 30 days at the end of October.
Right. Yesterday, during the press conference, Mr. Bhargava, you indicated that continued concern for entry-level segment, right? Are you expecting any improvement here? Also, if you could talk about SUV contribution to overall growth from here out.
The market for SUVs continues to be very good. And the bulk of the growth which is happening is actually in the SUV segment. The entry-level car market size, and as I mentioned in the press conference, sales of cars below 10 lakhs are now lower than what they were 6 years ago in 18-19. Whereas the SUV segment has grown from a much smaller base. Today, it's some 54 or 55% of the total market. And we have made our presence felt there. We are now 27% of the SUV market.
Right, got that, sir. Just to take that point forward, considering the continued fall in demand for entry-level cars, is Maruti looking to, make any tweaks, perhaps cut down production over there? Any other changes?
We're not cutting down, but we are at the moment adjusting, reducing production so that we are not building up inventory beyond what is required for normal sales. So, because we have had this problem in the past that we have built inventories of some of the small cars. I think it was largely because there was not enough coordination between the sales and the production. But now we are very aware of this problem and we are cutting down production. But if the market revives, we'll be ready to increase production also.
All right, so after the Q1 earnings, you had talked about single-digit volume growth for this fiscal. Do you still maintain that?
Yes, actually for 24-25, we think we will be in line with what the industry has been saying, which is a growth, overall growth of 3 to 4%. And I think this growth is only because the segment which is growing is the segment above 10 lakhs. The whole market, and there's a large market in India below 10 lakhs. That market is not growing. So, let me give you a figure. In 18-19, 82% of the cars that were sold were below 10 lakhs. Now that segment is not growing anymore, it is declining actually. So you can judge for yourself if that large segment does not grow and actually declines, how much can the other segment grow and make up for this 80% segment?
Mr. Bhargava, you are a market leader and you were saying that large market of cars below the 10 lakh rupee ticket size is not growing. Actually, it's on a decline. You said, well, sales are below where they were 6 years ago. Won't it be tough to meet the target that you just laid out?
No, we didn't put a high target for this year because we have recognized that the market conditions are such that unless this segment below 10 lakhs shows traction and starts growing at a reasonable rate, the overall market cannot grow much faster.
Okay, got that point. So when can we expect a revival in demand? That's the real question, sir, the big one, right? I mean, as per you, what would be those, a couple of reasons that need to change, that need to turn? What is the issue here? That industry-wide, I think, the growth numbers are stuck at 4 to 5%.
Problem is that certainly the income of people is growing because the economy is doing very well. We are having a GDP growth of 7%. Last year was higher than 7%. It's a good growth rate. But simultaneously, what is happening is the cost of cars is also going up because the regulations, especially regulations relating to safety, are being made more and more stringent, and we have to comply with those regulations. And they cost money. So the effect of higher incomes arising from economic growth is in a sense getting neutralized by the higher cost of the car because of the cars conforming to higher standards of safety and of course emission. Emission has to be done. It should be done also. So looking at that, it's hard to predict that there would be a sudden and big bounce back in the car demand.
Well, thanks a lot, sir, for joining in and giving us all those details with regard to the past quarter. And how do you see the trends shape up from here on?